What? Here we go. Patch notes, ladies and gentlemen. Token shop updates. The token shop updates. Blah, 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 blah. Here we go. Weekly spotlight. When a new Series 5 card is released, it will be immediately featured in its own section for the first week of Marvel Snap. Once you buy the weekly spotlight card, this section will be hidden until the next new card is released. If you want the newest cards at release, here's what you've been waiting for. Ultimate variants. Ultimate variants are some of the most epic variants in the game. We felt they deserved their own section too, so they're moving the ultimate variants out of the way and seeing Series 4 and 5 cards into their own rotation for those of you who want to make your decks all that much cooler. Series 4 and 5. This section functions nearly the same as previously, but only features Series 4 and 5 cards. This section will feature, as I'm trying to update Steam in the background, kill two birds with one stone. And rotates every 8 hours. Series 5 cards will be added to this section once they leave the weekly spotlight. Game board update. We've made some updates to our game board. Check out the new art and effects. Ooh, okay. Here we go. Seasonal series drop. Some cards have been dropped down to a lower series. Cards dropping from Series 5 to 4, we know. Ghost, Stature, MODOK, they announced this earlier last week. And then cards dropping from Series 4 to 3 are Shuri, Bast, Valkyrie, Super Skrull, and Black Panther. This is essentially live right now. And this is a live reaction. Here we go. General updates. Players that reach the infinite rank will only match against other infinite players. Yes! When you tap a card for more details in the shop or collection, the card detail... Wait. Pausing. Library. Marvel Snap. Queued. Update. Okay, it's updating. When you tap a card for more details on the shop or collector shop, the card detail screen now shows the featured artist credits, series label, series 3, 4, 5, etc., the variant rarity, such as rare, super rare, or ultimate. Very cool. I like that they're adding that in. When inspecting cards in-game, you can now flip them to see the card back in full detail. I like that. We've also updated other areas of viewing card backs to show off their 3D details. Roughly after 10 hours of gameplay in a day, players will stop earning Season Pass XP from gameplay for the remainder of the day. I like that because that was a huge bot farm issue. Huge bot farm issue. Huge bot farm issue. The Agatha bot farming. And I know this is skipping all over the place. It's updating, so bear with me, y'all, okay? Collection level track has also been extended. It was being stopped right around 22,000. Tis what it is. Trying to keep this so I can see everything and not have it freak out. There we go. Audio. New card sounds for Squirrel Girl. Drag. New location sound for Camp Lehigh. Added VO support for Thai and Indonesian. Balance updates. Here we go. In the wake of our last balance change, we saw the metagame settle into a much healthier shape than it had been before. However, we were too shallow with our adjustments to the Shuri Taskmaster decks and Lockjaw Leech shells, both with and without Thanos, have remained solid contenders. Today's changes aim to push both of those decks off their clear top spots. Outside of Shuri Taskmaster, the metagame is looking healthy in our internal metrics. Here we go. Shuri, previously a 4-2 on reveal, now is a 4-2 still on reveal. Update, if you play your next card here, double its power. So it is going to be forecastable, location specific for Shuri. Here's the dev comments on that. We considered a number of changes to Shuri, but they all tended to ruin her current decks. Some even theoretically risked managing a new monster with different parts. That's not a great risk to run when balancing a problematically strong card. The change we're making today may seem small and subtle, but we expect it to be impactful and retain the same flow of play for her existing decks, which is a consistent goal in our balance philosophy. This nerf removes Cosmo's protective capacity for her target, makes single card answers like Valkyrie easier to aim, and indirectly buffs lane control elements like Professor X. We're taking a risk here in that this nerf could leave Shuri still a strength outlier. If so, we'll react quickly. We'll come back to this. Leech. Still a 5/3, but now it says at the start of turn 6, remove all abilities from your from cards in your opponent's hand. So no matter when it pops up, turn 6 is when that goes down. Hey, no spoilers, no spoilers. Dill comments on this. It's never been our goal for Leech to be a heavily played card, and we understand that it's been a frustration lately. When it's happening, it usually means a finisher is generically strong against pure power like Leech Leader, and or a deck can play Leech earlier than turn 5 too often like Lockjaw Thanos. We've tried in the past to weaken the stronger cards in those decks, but it's been a balance and design obstacle. Thus, we've decided to remove the early Leech from the question. Leech is designed to counter some powerful endgame cards and combinations. Ooh, it says Lockjaw there. Uh-oh, hold on, wait. Combinations from a unique angle without any setup, which is important to have around in the event those decks begin to overperform. This change should let him fulfill that role when necessary without ever making him a fun foundational piece of the metagame. I'm not sure if I like this. Again, we'll come back to all of these. I want to read through these all first, and then we'll talk about reactions, because those are big changes to be throwing out there. Lockjaw. 3/2 is now, after you play a card here, swap it with a card in your deck once per turn. Once per turn, it will do the swap. After that, on that turn, is how I'm reading it, is that it won't swap. Interesting. Lockjaw is a fun and exciting card, but each trigger of this good boy basically draws a card and generates up to 6 energy at random. That's a lot of variance to have in multiple competitive decks. As we add cards, new and improved ways to sidestep Lockjaw's risks will also become available. Since we believe the most powerful and frustrating use of Lockjaw is triggering him multiple times in a turn, often within a snap along the way, we're changing that. Limiting Lockjaw to 1 swap per turn forces the player to develop their board without letting them sprint ahead or spring a late surprise. This will make Lockjaw simpler to play against and less impotent in decks, incidentally, playing lots of cheap cards like Thanos. I did not see the Lockjaw fully officially coming, but I get it. Here we go. America Chavez. Oh, okay, I like this. I like this a lot. America Chavez update. She's still a 6/9. She starts on the bottom of your deck. Draw this on turn 6. She's not mixed in. She's not on top. She always is on the bottom of your deck, so Cable just got a buff. Okay? Developer comments. Previously, if you were about to draw America Chavez, you would just draw your next card instead. This means that over the course of the game, she's a lot more likely to be the top card of your deck. Thus far, this has been largely unimportant outside of Yondu, but it does restrict our ability to print cards that interact with the top of your deck, aka Howard the Duck and Iron Lad. We expect this update to have little impact on America Chavez's functionality overall. Are you kidding me? This just made Cable a really big card, because America Chavez is a huge card to pull on 6 power. Huge card to pull. Jubilee, 4/1. Add the top card of your deck to this location. So it's no longer random. It's the top card. Oh, developer comment. I just saw the word leader. Oh man. Jubilee. Developer comment, some of our players may remember a time where Jubilee had this ability. Back then, Jubilee would often be a 4-10 as she'd pull America Chavez very consistently. We decided at that time to change Jubilee's effect instead of America Chavez's, as the former was a much simpler change to communicate. However, we're looking to design cards that interact with the top of your deck in the future. Just talked about them, Ireland and Howard the Duck, and potentially more. So we're bringing this design back too. We expect this update to have little impact on Jubilee for the time being. Okay, I'm cool with that. All the more reason why I'm hesitant of Jeff. Leader, again in the news, is now a 6-2 on reveal. Copy the enemy card with the single highest power played this turn, but on your side. Ooh. Oh, I like this. And the first words on their comments, we were clearly too harsh on Leader with his previous nerf, and we're dismayed that action became a go-to example of how ruinous a nerf can be. Our balance philosophy is to preserve as much playability as we reasonably can when weakening cards, and we didn't succeed here previously. With this change, we're aiming to bring his strength back up to a playable spot for a 6-cost card, but still avoid the oppressive impact his original form had. We have erred on the cautious side with his power for now, because some previous defenses against the original Leader, such as playing weaker cards before a stronger one, no longer apply. Ooh. Copy the enemy card with the highest power played this turn on your side. That makes a whole new kind of Leader deck. That's really cool. Okay, bug fixes. The game no longer crashes with some Android things. There's no longer an infinite loop if Morph spawns randomly and copies Kang. I didn't know that even happened. That's cool. The Series 3 token shop should now display properly. Tapping duplicate Kangs in play while the turn is rewinding should no longer cause that card to disappear. Oh, I've seen that. That happened to me. Spotlight cards in the Season Pass UI can be focused by tapping anywhere on the card. Credit code deep linking should now okay, sure. UI elements such as the avatar menu should no longer be clickable. I want to read all of these because some of these are interesting. Fix an issue that could cause some games to go, oh snap, when certain game conditions or play with Galactus. Fix an issue that allows you to use characters in deck names that should be blocked. Okay. Fix some, I wonder which ones those were. Fix some issues that would cause Sandman's VFX to play in situations. Yep, I've seen that. Lehigh no longer overlap. That happened all the time. Navigation bar doesn't stay up. Kang should no longer cause the in-game music to be caught in a loop. Yeah. I've seen that on other people's streams. Snapping after Kangs been played should no longer result in overlapping UI. Claiming collector's reserve after upgrading a card shouldn't fail. The variant card in the shop should no longer display the wrong card art. When the shop refreshes, the Raft's VFX should no longer be missing. Camp Lehigh, they really botched Camp Lehigh and they just fixed it. And then it says PC should now display properly for Limbo, whatever that is. Reactions and comments to all this, because there's a couple of surprises in here for me. First off, Shuri. And to make this clear for everybody, while this does not stop Shang-Chiing Red Skull, because you can still do it in an armor lane, it does stop the combination of putting an armor lane and a Cosmo lane, and there's literally nothing you can do. And that's the point of this. So we'll see if this sticks. It's the step in the direction that a lot of us thought it was going to end up being. I'm still an advocate for make her as that effect happens, but as a 5/5. But I see why they're doing it, and I'm curious how quickly they'll react if it's still an issue. So keep an eye on sites like snap.fan to look at the statistics of how that card is being played and how well it does moving forward. Leech. I like Leech with this change of at the start of turn 6, remove all abilities from your cards from cards in your opponent's hand. I am a big fan of this specifically because the problem with Leech wasn't being leeched. The problem with Leech was being leeched ahead of when you should have been leeched. This incentivizes actually not having him in a Lockjaw deck. It brings a lot of incentive to that. So I'm completely okay with this adjustment. Leech is still going to be annoying, and that's why you play Leech. That's why you play Leech. But at the same time, you could still make the argument that he should be a 5/1. Lockjaw. Once per turn, changes the strategy of Lockjaw entirely. And I'm completely okay with it because it should be a roulette wheel that you throw one ball in at a time. It should be a slot machine. You do one crank at a time. It's to be expected to a degree, but at the same time, they may have just also put that good boy down. America Chavez. Until Howard the Duck and Iron Lad show up, Cable's going to be someone everybody should be playing. Because if she's guaranteed to be on the bottom, then that's going to be a really important card. Going to be a really important card. Because that deck thinning now has a counter. Really. Jubilee. 4/1, add the top card of your deck to this location. Again, with Howard the Duck, which is coming out in May, you'll be able to tap Howard the Duck to see the next card coming up. If you've got Howard the Duck on 1, Zabu on 2, Jubilee on 3, and you know, boom, Infinaut's up next. That's a 3-cost Infinaut right there. That's a big deal, big combo. So Jubilee has a lot of value there, specifically. Outside of that, you shouldn't see it as much being an issue. Leader. Okay. There's one very specific thing with Leader that I love with this. One very specific thing. And that it's they're trying to also counter Darkhawk. Because the fact that it says copy the enemy cards, you play down your Darkhawk and Mystique simultaneously on the same lane or lanes. They're both the same high power. They both get copied. So you could now counter that with Leader again. I'm glad that it's not all cards. But to me, this further, like all of these adjustments speak so heavy to May coming out and the rise of Hazmat. And yeah, if I had to rate the adjustments overall, I am going to give it like a B+. I would have liked to see a little bit more aggressive on Shuri, to be honest. Leech is fine. I'm okay with it. Lockjaw, unfortunately needed, but he hasn't been completely euthanized. Chavez, that's not really a nerf, it's just an adjustment to get ready for the future. Same thing with Jubilee. Leader, I love that they retouched this quickly because he was nerfed into the ground. And now he's relevant again. Now he's relevant again. I am a big fan of this. I give it a good solid B+. I think overall it's well done. It could have been a little further, a little stronger on Leech and Shuri. But I'll live. What do you guys think? In the chat, what do you guys think? Give it a rating. 1 to 10. 10 being perfect. 1 being like the last leader nerf prior to this. And Dave coming on down with the YouTube sub. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see what they're saying on social. Jeff is now live. So that means we got to open the game now, people. Let's take a look at it.